the thing with homelessness is it's not just one type of homelessness. It's extremely multifaceted. And so our mission has always been to make sure that we're catering to all different types of homelessness.
You're listening to Elevate, the official podcast of Elite Agent for real estate industry sales professionals, property managers and leaders. We are proud to present Courageous Conversations, a podcast series focusing on the tough decisions people have made to put themselves on a pathway to success. This episode is brought to you by Connect Now, who makes the business of moving easier for both you and your clients. For more information, visit connectnow.com.au. Please welcome your host, Leanne Pilkington.
Hey everyone, Leanne Pilkington here for the latest episode of Courageous Conversations, and I have Madelyn Jones with me today. Hey Maddie, how are you?
Hey Leanne, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, really well. I'm excited to hear more about your story. We've been connected by Julia Dyer, who's an old friend of mine, and we will get to your relationship with Julia very soon. But you are the co-founder and director of the social enterprise, The Good Box. So what is The Good Box?
Yeah, so The Good Box is a social enterprise, as you just said, and basically we create these beautiful gift boxes for people experiencing homelessness. So these gift boxes get packed and distributed by our amazing group of volunteers and sent to 35 different charity partners all over Australia who are in need of providing people in their care with these essential packages, basically. So it's
what's in a good box?
Yeah, so we've got all different types of boxes and they're constantly growing. The thing with homelessness is it's not just one type of homelessness. It's extremely multifaceted. And so our mission has always been to make sure that we're catering to all different types of homelessness. So you've got a male-specific box, you've got a female-specific box, you've got a unisex and genderless box. We've got a box for pets. We've got a winter box during the cold months. And all of these boxes have essential items for that specific period of time. For our normal boxes, the male, female and goodie boxes, they have items such as toothbrush, toothpaste, deodorant, face washes, face wash, all those little essential items that we all take for granted. And they're all first-hand quality items from really reputable and amazing brands, because we found that the issue was when we spoke to a lot of people experiencing homelessness during the idea stage of the Good Box, that they were getting a lot of, items, mainly secondhand, in Coles bags that kind of remind them of the situation that they were in. So we thought, wow, let's create an actual gift box so they feel like they're receiving a really beautiful gift with all these items.
Which they wouldn't get very often, right? They wouldn't get too many gifts.
No, and that's the feedback we get all the time. Wow, this is the first gift I've had in years. And what's really amazing is we actually, in every single box, there's a handwritten note from the person who sponsored that box. And those notes are written by our amazing volunteers as well. So in the past 12 months, we've distributed over 12,000 good boxes to people in need. So that's also 12,000 written notes as well.
That's a lot of boxes and a lot of notes. So let's go back. You started it in 2018.
Yeah, we did.
And why? Where did the whole idea come from and why were you so passionate about it?
Yeah, well, it was funny actually. It kind of just sprung up on me, this whole journey, because I actually grew up in a smallish type town and never really saw anyone experiencing homelessness. And I, after uni, actually moved to Sydney to start a grad position and was working in the CBD, in the hustle and bustle, and that's where I really noticed a lot of homelessness, and I'm sure anyone who lives in Sydney has also experienced that.
Yeah,
and,
I'd never experienced it until I started working in the CBD. I've lived in Sydney all of my life, but when you're working out in the suburbs, you don't see it. But in the CBD, it's horrifying and
really
it's heartbreaking. Yeah, it's confronting, right?
It's very confronting. And so on my way to work every day, there was this same man that was sleeping underneath my building, my work building, and he was there for weeks on end. And it was obvious that he was sleeping there full time. And people would quite literally walk past this person as if he was a piece of rubbish or, littler than them, or they would laugh at the situation that he was in. And I remember walking with some colleagues, and my superior actually was making jokes about this person. And I was just like, that's like, no, not at all. Not at all. That's not fair at all. And then there was another group of people who would just ignore the situation. Ignorance is bliss. I don't know what I can do, so I'll just keep walking, put my head down.
And I won't look.
And I realized that I was doing that because I didn't know what to do. And then I started to realize that a lot of other people were in the same boat. They really wanted to help, but they just didn't know how. And so my co-founder, Gali, who couldn't be on this chat today, but she was the one who actually had this thought that what if we had a box, a really nice gift box that had everything inside that someone experiencing homelessness really needed and really wanted as well. And you could actually give that box to someone, and that way that you're helping. And so that's kind of where the idea came from. And then we realized the problem is not just people who are sleeping on the streets. That's the most common form that you see visually, but the problem is so much bigger than that. So we then started partnering with other service providers rather than reinventing the wheel. We, collaborated with other service providers to see what their needs were. And what we found was that our boxes are actually providing a solution to a big problem that charities have, is that they are some are extremely underfunded or are only given funding or grants for specific. Yeah,
you've got to be very specific with what you use the grants for.
Yeah. Exactly. So, for example, if there's an organisation that's in emergency accommodation, they only get funding for that specific operation.
Yep.
And so then they don't have time or money to go out and get the essential items for these people who are coming into their care. So by us sending them these boxes fully packaged with a beautiful note inside to welcome their guests in, it's creating that trust, it's creating that two-way connection and allowing them to actually build this trust and way to help people further. And it's also adding dignity and confidence into the people's lives that are receiving these boxes. And there's been so many cases where, we've been told it's incredible that just a small little box of items has helped someone through all these hard times because they've remembered, okay, I am a person, I matter, someone's thinking about me, someone's cheering me on, and I can do this.
Yeah, it's amazing. I was in San Francisco a couple of years ago, just prior to COVID, and I was horrified at the homelessness problem over there. It's absolutely massive. It makes Sydney look like a country town. And I was talking to somebody who had an old friend who had moved from somewhere else in the US to Silicon Valley to get a high-paying job, but they got there, the job was gone. They'd used every last cent they had to get there, and all they could do was sleep on the street and try and find another job. Now, when you're sleeping on the street, you can't brush your teeth and you can't do your hair and all of those things. So you become from presentable to unemployable just in the space of a few days. I hadn't really thought about it before.
Absolutely. And I think the past 2 years with coronavirus, bushfires, all of the stuff that's been happening has really put things into perspective for the everyday person, that things can just change in the click of a finger. And the difference, USA homelessness is a completely different kettle of fish. It's absolutely awful. And I think the problem in the US is very different to what it is in Australia. People in the US are actually dying from hunger and starvation and just awful circumstances because they're not getting looked after at all. Whereas in Australia, whilst hunger and, essential items are extremely problematic, the actual killer is isolation. And that's why we're really massive on making sure that this is a two-way connection and a way for people to build a connection through a communication and through a conversation. So that's a big thing for us.
And so you're not very old.
No.
But you are spending most of your time, it appears, doing a social enterprise rather than, climbing any corporate ladders. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, definitely. It's so I'm only 26 and we started this when I was 23-ish, 22. And I was definitely on a very well paid, high paying job. I was an event manager in a previous life for many years. And then I guess when this passion sort of popped up into my brain, I sort of ended up becoming a really awful employee because I was just like, this isn't for me. My brain is elsewhere throughout the day. I took every second that I could to work on the Good Box and just building up the idea. And I just love that whole entrepreneurship side of it as well. So the passion was there, and then also really wanting to build something of my own. And then, I kind of got to the stage with my work where I definitely was not getting any promotions. I was not getting Employee of the Year. And every minute I could, I'd spend on the Good Box. So what I did was actually drop back down to 4 days a week and took a pay cut, and then that still wasn't working. So I actually quit and became a freelancer. So I could kind of choose my own times and my own hours. And then I think coronavirus was actually quite bittersweet because, as we all know, events got completely cancelled during that time. So I had no option but to just put all my energy into the Good Box, and it completely pays off because as soon as you put your whole energy into something, you're going to grow it tenfold than you were when you were, 1% in the business. So at that point, we just kind of, myself and Gali, my co-founder, just made the decision, let's just go for it.
Go all in.
Yeah, work our asses off and just do it. And that was the best decision we ever made. So it was definitely tough going, to just completely drop everything and then start this business. But it's been an awesome journey. Lots of challenges along the way.
Yeah, I'll bet. So talk to me about some of the challenges.
There's so many, but I think probably the first main challenge was the fact that we were so young and we didn't get taken very seriously ever. And so people would say, oh, that's such a cute little project that you're doing. It's such a cute idea. And then there'd be other people like middle-aged men starting the similar sort of thing or a business as well that get taken way more seriously. And it's like, but we're actually the same. So that was a huge challenge. But what we kind of learned over time was just get a thicker skin, and we are good, we are confident, we can do this, and you just got to have that trust and just go for it. So lots of learnings in that side. And I think another challenge was, which we come up to all the time, is funding. It's a very, very hard game, and there were times where we recently, probably about 6 months ago, where we were like, oh, is the Good Box even going to be operating tomorrow? Because it just gets really tough at times. But I think whenever you have the passion and whenever there's a challenge like that where it's do or die, if you've got the passion, you're going to get over that hump. So we were able to get over that hump, and it's been really good, but still always challenges.
Yeah, exactly, because there's so many charities out there looking for funding, right? And so it sounds like each individual box is sponsored by people or businesses.
Yeah, that's right. So businesses can sponsor boxes. So we have a sponsorship model. So corporates can get on board and actually sponsor X amount of boxes per year, which is amazing. Or there's the individual purchases. So we have an amazing group, amazing community of loyal Good Box family members who purchase boxes each month, each week, and include those really beautiful notes inside. And we take our customers on an awesome journey by providing them with photos and testimonials of where the boxes have been. And
nice.
It's a really great community we've got. And so we also work with a couple of real estate agents actually, and in the finance world, people like to purchase a good box in their client's name if they've settled on a house or if they've settled on a partnership. And, there's a little note inside that says a good box has been donated in your name inside the hampers. So, yeah, that's awesome.
And is that how you got involved with Julia?
That is. So Julia actually, gave me a call out of the blue. I think it was like a Friday morning, and how Fridays you just you're just like, oh, no one's going to call today. I just have an admin day. And then Julia called and just proposed this idea to me of, she's got a marketing background, and if she could create a marketing kit for the real estate world, and basically if real estate agents come on board and support the Good Box, then they get access to a marketing kit. And in that marketing kit, there's social media posts, there's email signatures, there's newsletter copy, and little gift cards that get sent out that you put in your hampers and say a Good Box has been donated in your name, and that goes into the settlement hampers or even appraisal gifts. Yep. And I just was on board straight away and loved the idea. And so it's been really great. We've been getting in contact with a couple of agencies who have been, donating each month, and then getting
How much are the boxes?
So the boxes range from $21.99 to $24.99. So, really affordable. And there's about 15 items in each box. So the value is insane. And it's just such a affordable way to do good, and it's tangible as well. Yeah, it's a really nice idea for market appraisals as well, because most agents don't actually do anything to say thank you for those. And I get it, there's financial constraints and all of that sort of stuff, but $21 to $25 is not a lot of money, right? No, that's right. It's it definitely would help stand out from the crowd by, even just taking out a couple of nuts and, trail mix or whatever it is that goes into the hampers, and replacing that with a Good Box being donated. I think really, really affordable way to do good. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's an incredible venture. So congratulations to you. If people want to find out a little bit more about what you do, where should they go? Yeah, so we are at www.thegoodbox.com.au, and you can find us on social media at The Good Box Enterprise. And there's a special little toggle on the website, a menu bar, that's for real estate packages, which we've created. So we've made it very easy for you to just, purchase those boxes in one go, and then you get the marketing kit through Julia. Fantastic. All right. Well, I'm going to check that out, and I'm going to follow you on Insta. And I'm so glad we had this opportunity to chat. Congratulations for everything you've achieved so far. Oh, amazing. Thank you so much, Leanne.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Courageous Conversations, with thanks to connectnow.com.au. Don't forget to get access to all of Elite Agency's premium resources, including a detailed episode guide for this podcast. Visit joineliteagent.com.